Welcome back to the SBS Podcast. I'm Connor Kendall. No Cam today. We hope to get him back next week as he is, I want to say he's up in Boise, working up in Boise. So let's hope we can get him back next week. I think that is the plan. So can't wait for next week. I know I promised a couple episodes last week. I got a little busy. Hopefully I can follow through on some of those this week. Getting this one out a little late, so we'll be touching up on some of the bigger storied headlines for this past couple days and end of last week. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's bring out the starting lineup.
Your SBS starting lineup.
So earlier this week, I believe, I want to say it released Friday, maybe it might have been last week Friday night, and then a lot of media sources started hitting up on it Monday. But the NCAA, the settlement was finalized, and boy, is it a doozy. I have a couple notes written down to try and give you the best information and coverage on it as possible. But to sum it up, to explain it in layman's terms, I guess, schools can basically now share revenue with student athletes. Now, you may ask, like, okay, well, weren't they doing that before? Yes and no. NIL was essentially a form of revenue, but now the schools can take what they are earning and basically share it with the athletes. So for like players in professional leagues like the NBA, NFL, they're getting physical paychecks from their organizations that like they're getting actual revenue. Players can now essentially get those checks from their schools. They're going to metaphorically receive a check with their school's logo on it. Which this is going to blow up the entire college athletics world as we know it. Basically, right after the settlement, as well as it dropped a commission, a more formal, a more formal union, so to say, for the revenue sharing aspect of college sports formed. The College Sports Commission formed, which is basically just going to be setting and regulating rules. So we're expecting, or I can't remember if we're expecting or if it was finalized, a salary cap of some sorts in some ways will be dropped, which that in and of itself will change the whole landscape of college sports as we know it as well. Revenue sharing is going to change it drastically, but this is going to flip it totally upside down. Or a lot of assumption and expectations is schools are going to say have a $50 million cap, let's say. Now, they have to decide what they're going to use that money on. Most schools, for sure, the top three sports are going to be football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. So this is more than likely what's going to happen. Schools like Texas are already reportedly spending like $40 million on football rosters. So that in and of itself is going to take up the majority of schools' budgets. That leaves very little money for other programs. Now, men's basketball, women's basketball, you don't need a whole lot of money. You don't need $20, $30 million to build a roster. So those sports are pretty safe. A lot of money is still going to go into it. And on top of that, you're still going to have an NIL collective coming in. Now, Pete Thamel was asked a question on the Pat McAfee show if NIL if the collectives are still going to exist. His response was basically it's going to kind of turn into a marketing arm, so to say. So kind of help the athletes gain business deals, I guess. So they're going to have that extra source of revenue as well. Now, with these presumed salary caps, you can only assume programs are going to get cut. And that's going to be probably a big problem, especially with Title IX, because Title IX is going to be implemented. It's a federal law, nationwide law, which that is also going to probably hit with lawsuits coming out against the NCAA, especially in addition to this $2.8 billion payout for athletes from 2016 to 2024. I know I'm kind of jumping all over this place. It is a lot to take in. It's a lot to cover. Essentially, with that payout, the NCAA will be distributing $2.8 billion over 10 years to football and men's basketball players. $2.3 billion of that will be distributed to the P4 schools, so schools in the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC. Those are agreed upon as the P4 schools. And then the remaining, 5.5 billion will be distributed amongst the non-power schools. That is going to be a whole mess in and of itself. One, coming from the Title IX aspect, they're going to get a huge lawsuit thrown at the NCAA is going to get a huge lawsuit thrown at them with Title IX, but then you're going to have individual lawsuits for players that maybe played their last years were in 2015 and then back. Like, where's my money? Why don't I get money? Why was the cutoff 2016? So there's going to be lawsuits in there. This is essentially the beginning of the downfall of the NCAA. In my opinion, I don't see how the NCAA can continue to exist even up to this 10-year mark where they're paying out these players. I think past athletes, schools, other organizations are basically going to soak the NCAA dry, and they're not going to have a lick. They're not going to have a cent of money to run and be an organized body. So this whole settlement is going to be very, very important. It is possibly one of the biggest history points in collegiate sports. We're living in a crazy time. It's going to be wild to see the next steps. It's going to be interesting to see what the caps are going to be like and what kind of money is getting thrown out around these schools, what revenues are going to be for athletes and in what sports, if it's going to vary or if it's all going to kind of be the same. So I imagine it's not. I imagine the players that probably bring in more revenue are going to get a bigger cut of said revenue. So crazy time. Next up on the lineup, we're going to talk some MLB action this week. Red Sox get the did they win the series? I believe they won the series win over the Yankees. Let me just double check because I don't want to be wrong on that. Yes, got the series win over the Yankees, 3-1. Big storied headline was the biggest headline in that series wasn't actually a player on the roster at the time, and that was Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony on last Sunday, hit it was like a 500-foot grand slam to win the game for, I think he was playing for the Red Sox. So that stirred up a lot of noise for the Red Sox organization, saying you need to bring him up. We're desperate. We need his talents to boost this team. Well, your wish is my command. The Red Sox then brought up Roman Anthony against the Rays Monday. He made his MLB debut, and let's say he probably would like to forget that performance. I watched. He went 0 for 4. It wasn't great. His first at bat, I believe he swung out of the fences as first at bat, and the pitch was there. I just think he hit it just a little wrong. Pop up to left field by the monster. And, I mean, he's going for the home run. Who doesn't want to hit a home run for your first at-bat? So, tried to swing out his shoes for his first at-bat, and then after that, he had a line drive right to the pitcher out, and then after that, I think he struck out 2 times in a row. Got so bad that Cora threw in Ref Snyder to pitch it for him. So, needless to say, his first outing with the Sox was not very memorable. However, Game 2 yesterday against the Rays, he then got his first hit as Red Sox with a RBI double. And let's share that right now.
Swings at a liner to left field. On the grass all the way up against the monster. That's going to score 2. He takes off for second base. He's got a double.
Clean hit, nothing crazy, but, I mean, Roman Anthony is on the board. He is a Red Sox. He has his first hit with the Red Sox organization. It's funny, first game, I think he wore number 48, and I guess he took that as bad luck and changed his number the next day to 19. At least that's my initial thought. I think they probably couldn't give him 19 right away. Maybe just a time issue, so they had a number probably ready for him when they called him up, because he wore 19 for the Woo Sox in the minors. So looks like that will be his number for the Red Sox. I'm excited for Anthony. I think he's going to only get better and gain more confidence. I mean, you can't expect a whole ton from a rookie within his first couple games. So I'm ecstatic about this kid. I can only expect good things from him, especially just with his entire rookie class. Christian Campbell, Marcelo Meyer, those guys are going to be the new face of the Red Sox organization. They're going to lead this team into the, I don't know, X many years. Hopefully they can bring the next World Series to Boston. But as far as those other guys, they are looking very, very good. Today, Marcelo Meyer hit 2 home runs in the win against the Rays, 3-1. Here's Marcelo Meyer. Let me see, here are Marcelo Meyer's 2 home runs.
Very first one here at Fenway Park. Yeah. This is swinging a shot by Meyer. That one way down the line. Hit him in the corner, and that's gone. Him like he's another son in the family. There's the swing. There's the drive. Down into that corner again. Yes, sir. His second one of the ball game.
I mean, just absolutely demolished those 2 balls. Just exact same place, knew the pitch. He's going to be a great guy. He's going to be a great player for the Red Sox. I don't know what his role will be exactly for them when Alex Bregman returns, because right now Meyer is playing third base, which is typically where Bregman plays. Devers did play there and now is DHing for the Sox. So it'll be interesting where they'll put Meyer. I don't really know exactly where you'd throw him at. You can maybe put him at first, take out Abraham Toro, but then again, I don't know. It's going to be tricky because you have so much talent with these young rookies and just not a whole lot of room to put them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Christian Campbell's been great as well since he has started playing for the Sox. I think he got his first home run. He got his first home run a couple games ago. I know he had one against the Yankees on Sunday. But he's a great player as well. He's going to be a great second baseman for the Red Sox. So, yeah, Sox are starting to get into a groove. I believe they've won 3 in a row now. So that is great news for me and my Sox. Cam, however, his Angels are doing great as well. I believe they're on a bit of a better win streak than my Red Sox. No, they're also on a 3-game. Red Sox are on a 2-game. Sorry. Red Sox are on a 2-game until tomorrow when they beat the Yankees. Is it tomorrow? Or is it Friday? Friday. Boston plays the Yankees in Fenway. But the Angels are starting to get back into a groove, have won their last 5 of 6, have won 5 of their last 6 games. They're getting a groove. I can only imagine how Cam is reacting right now, or he's probably getting a little more juiced up with the season's 3.5 back in the AL West. But the most exciting news as of late with the Angels is not an Angels player. As you can see on the board, Denzel Clark had quite the snag against the Angels on Monday. Here it is.
Denzel going back here in the track, at the track, right to the wall, leaping, climbing the wall. Did he catch it? He did!
Yeah, that is me as well. We can play that back.
Pitch to Nolan Shonable, left-handed hitter, 5-ball left center. Denzel going back here in the track, at the track, right to the wall, leaping, climbing the wall. Did he catch it? He did!
That is going to be a play. That might be the play of the year already. I mean, scales up the wall probably about 10 feet and just snags that from beyond the wall. Like, that's MLB The Show type stuff right there. That's you sprinting the outfield, pressing X. I think it's X, and then hitting that button sequence as fast as you can. That is the show. That is the show type of a play. Like that is wild. I had to watch it a couple times when I first saw it. Like that was insane. That reminds me of 2013 Red Sox. I don't know who was it. Was it? No, because Mookie wasn't on. 2013 right fielder leap over the wall, snags it. Officer in the back. I can't remember who that player was, but that's what it reminded me of. That was probably the best home run robbery that I can remember since then. But what a play! Yeah, MLB has been great as of late, so definitely tune in. Watch your team. Even watch the big headlining games throughout the week. They do not disappoint. Moving on, NBA Finals update. Right now, the series is tied. The game is going on right now. It is in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes left, and it is all tied up, 95-95. Let's see. Let's look at the box score right now. As of right now, wow, Benedict Mathurin, off the bench for the Pacers, leads all players in points with 22. He's 1 of 2 from 3, 8 of 10 from the field. Following him is, of course, Mr. MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 21. Surprisingly, only has gone to line 5 times. Of course, has hit 4 of 5. But Tyrese Haliburton has come alive a little bit in this game. He is 19 points right now, 3-6 from the 3-point line, and 8 of 13 from the floor. So it's a tight game going down to the wire. Almost a little under 8 minutes to go. Pacers up by 2 now. Now it's tied, 98-98. So we'll see if by the time this episode wraps up, if there will be a final score. But I haven't been watching really any of the playoffs, of the final NBA finals. I've been watching highlights. It looks like a pretty all right finals, I guess. I know there is worry about these two markets being in the final, Oklahoma City and Indiana, two pretty small markets. And so ratings from the NBA side we're expecting to be low. I know Adam Silver came on ESPN, I believe, and said that they don't care what teams make it to the finals, that they just want the two best teams to be in the finals, which I think there's some truth to that, but at the same time I think they'd rather have a Knicks Warriors or a Lakers Boston finals to get those bigger markets and higher ratings. So I don't know. It's been a somewhat entertaining finals, but if OKC gets this game tonight, if they come out with the win, I don't see it. I don't see Indiana lasting at all, especially if it goes to 7. There's no chance that they get that Game 7 win in Oklahoma. I think if the Pacers want to win, they have to beat the Thunder in 6. If I'm correct, I think I did pick the Pacers to win. I know Cam picked the Thunder, so we both have something riding on it as opposed to the NHL playoffs. NHL playoffs, NHL finals, Stanley Cup finals. I believe Florida is up 2-1 on the Oilers. I think we both picked the Panthers, if I am not mistaken. I don't want to say I picked the Oilers, because if I did, then I am not very smart. But Game 4 tomorrow in Florida. Panthers look to take a 3-1 lead. I think they do. The Panthers have just been bullies, absolute bullies, to Edmonton. They just have not been able to keep up with them. So I see a Panthers win coming tomorrow. Trying to see, Florida won 6-1 Monday to open up their series at home. Florida just has so much. They don't have the two best players, which I believe that is with the Oilers in McDavid and what's his name? Why am I blanking his name? Dryslot. I can't say his name. Drysdale. Anyway, hockey fans, you know who I'm pointing out. Oilers have the two best players in this series, but they are just ultimately outmatched by Florida, who is overall more physical and better chemistry-driven team than Edmonton. Quite frankly, I just want Florida to win, in the spite of America being better than Canada and Canada not having hoisted the trophy in like 30 years. I think I touched on that last episode, but yeah, it has been the more entertaining of the two major finals that is going on right now. Yeah, looking to tune in to that hopefully tomorrow. 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Little NBA Finals update. Let's see. Indiana up by 3, 101-98 with 6.5 remaining. We'll keep tabs on that. The last on our board is U.S. Open. First round is tomorrow. I'll try and watch probably the last 2 rounds, Saturday and Sunday. That's just when things, I think, tighten up and you start to get the really good golf. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of, not necessarily amateurs, but a lot of the names that we're not quite familiar with take early leads tomorrow and Friday. And so I'm looking to tune in more on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see if DeChambeau can retain his crown with the U.S. Open. He won it last year. The favorites, I didn't look up the favorites. I'm assuming Scheffler and McIlroy are up there with the top favorites leading into the tournament. Let's see. Scottie Scheffler is the favorite to win, plus 275. DeChambeau is second with plus 750. Then John Rahm, Roy McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Agberg, Colin Morikawa goes on. Tony Finau is actually not far down as I thought. He's kind of up there. He had a really good showing at what was our last final, the PGA Championship. He had a pretty good showing. I think tied 19th at PGA Championship. So we'll see if he can continue to play good golf. Ever since the Masters, he's kind of cranked it up a little bit. He didn't make the cut at the Masters, so since then he's turned up his levels. He's put on the gas a little more. So we'll see where he finishes up. Honestly, obviously a state favorite here in Utah. He's one of my favorite golfers, so I will be rooting for him. I'll say he finishes in the top 20. I want to see him finish in the top 20. I think that'd be great. Anything higher, obviously, would be amazing. My pick to win the Open, I think I picked Scotty to win PG. I don't know if we did a PGA bet. I know I picked him to win the Masters, and obviously Roy won that. He crept on him. He crept up. But Scotty coming off a 5-stroke win at the championship. Bryson was there with him. I would like to say Bryson has a little bit of an edge up, and probably has that drive to get a revenge or to have a very solid performance like he did at the Masters, because I bet the Masters and the championship are just eating him because he had great performances in both, and he just could not finish them. So I want to see him win. He won the Live Golf in Korea, which, I mean, that's great. I don't know if that's something to really pat yourself on the back for. I mean, Live Golf and PGA obviously very different, so to say. I'm just trying to find time because I don't know who I want to go with. I'm going to go with DeChambeau. I think DeChambeau comes out. He's obviously going to drive well, but I think his iron play will be better. His iron play is going to be a little better. He's going to tighten that up a little bit. His putting, I feel like, is going to be pretty regular for Bryson. He's a great putter, but I feel like there's a lot of moments where he just has hiccups caused by his iron play. So I think he tightens up his iron play, and that leads him to a U.S. Open victory, back-to-back victories. But I would not be surprised if someone like a Colin Morikawa or a Xander Schauffele kind of fight him for that. Obviously, I think Scheffler's going to be in the mix. I think he's going to be in the top 5 for sure. Rory, I don't know. Rory has just been he's been everywhere ever since winning the Masters. I mean, his presses have just not been great. He just seems very off. He says he has said he's in a better place, so we'll see if that is true. As of right now, I'm going to lean with Bryson to win. I think I'll maybe come out with a video on Friday after the first full round is and make my final predictions, just to get a little feel for how everyone is golfing. But my pre-first round takes are Bryson winning it, Scotty pretty close behind him, and then Schauffele, Morikawa kind of in the mix, Roy kind of in the mix, and Tony top 20. That's what I'm gonna write it down just so I can look back at what I said. All right, got that written down. But a couple last second things I forgot to kind of go over. Kind of going back, throwing it back to the MLB. Bradford Doolittle of ESPN, columnist for ESPN, he put out a piece for all the teams what they should do before the MLB deadline. Deadline is coming up. I believe it's July 29th, if I'm not mistaken. But put a piece kind of explaining what each team should do before said deadline, and he broke it up in terms of contention for the World Series. With the Red Sox, if you follow the Red Sox and you're a fan like I am, you kind of know what the lingering problem is, and that's starting pitching. Garrett Crochet is literally our lifeline. He is the only source of happiness our bullpen has. Walker Buehler, he had a decent outing with the Yankees. Tanner Houck has been all right. Brian Bayo, subpar. I mean, that's just kind of how it is, other than Garrett Crochet, who's just been carrying that weight. Bradford says, quote, he's a one-man show, and he's not far off of that at all. So if they can make some moves, which I highly doubt they are, to get another very good starter, they're going to be in great shape heading into this stretch, the last stretch of the season, aiming for October, because defensive-wise, outside of the bullpen is great. There's no complaints. We're strong. There's some hiccups by Roman Anthony, but I think that's just, again, little rookie mistakes that he's going to grow out of. Offensively, we are great. We hit the ball great. We have great averages. We can get on base. We can drive in runs. So I'm not worried about our offensive games at all. In terms of the Angels, I have not been watching the Angels a whole lot, so this would be great for Cam's insight to see what, or if Bradford is saying is in line or correct. He kind of says they can improve anywhere, essentially. They need, let's see, not to cut or lose veterans, which they kind of have been doing. They need more consistent hitters. I guess it's been an all or nothing approach from the offensive side. So the pitching, there just hasn't been enough of it, I guess. So it's kind of points all over the board, offensively and defensively. So I guess there's a whole lot of work for the Angels to do to try and get into contention for October at least. So I'm curious to see what Cam's takes are on that when he gets back. So yeah, this little article has been, it's very interesting to see, especially with the top teams who are well within contention. The Dodgers obviously looking to go back-to-back. The next few weeks are about figuring out which hurdles the Dodgers can or can't con with their real season starts when filling in the gaps accordingly, is what he says. So I guess there's just little gaps that need to fine-tune. I don't know if they'd be moving or adding any players for the deadline, quite frankly. He does mention the injury list is stacked, which is good, I guess. The rumor is Shohei should pitch after the All-Star break. I don't know if they want to do that. I don't know what their plans are for Shohei in terms of pitching, because if I'm Dave Roberts, I don't know if I want him pitching at all. I mean, he's fighting Judge for the best hitter in the league right now. I mean, I think he's tied with Judge for home runs. I think he has 23 home runs this season. Judge actually might have more. Now, let's see. $25. Yeah, so he just has regained the throne for most home runs. But yeah, if I'm the Dodgers, I don't want Shohei pitching this season. He's too valuable offensively to risk him tearing or acquiring Tommy again. So that's just my 2 cents. Other teams, the big thing I am interested to see happening is if the Pirates move Paul Skeens. Not that they would want to, not that he's not performing, but the fact that he is so valuable. That's just my thoughts. I'm just reading his thoughts on the Pirates and if they should trade him. He's saying forget it. Don't even think about it. If you're going to trade this guy in the second year just because, they can't or are not willing to spend money to create a competitive offense behind Paul, then why are you even playing baseball? Why do you even have this team? Which he actually makes a pretty good point. So I guess Paul just has to wait till his contract runs out if he wants to get on a competitive team or go complain to the front office and make them spend money. So maybe they add some more additions to that offense to complement Cruz and company. So yeah, that is kind of the sum of this episode. Last update for NBA Finals. Looks like Pacers are going to grab Game 3. There's 1 minute left, up by 8. 112 to 104. So I'm calling it right now. Pacers win Game 3, take a 2-1 lead in the series. That means Friday is going to be a very important game for the Thunder. It'll be interesting to see how they jump back. I'll need to watch the highlights to see kind of how Indiana defended OKC, because obviously Shai is still getting points up, still having a lot of good company around him. Let's see, assisted 4 times still, so he's still able to pass the ball around. The big 3, Jalen Williams, 24 points as well tonight. Chet Holmgren, 20 points tonight as well. It's just a star fest. Pascal Siakam for the Pacers, 19 points. Tyrese up to 22 now. The big thing is Benedict Mathurin coming off the bench with 25 points. That is what has won the game. So it's going to be a tight game. 4 in Indiana on Friday. I don't know what time. Let's see what time. Good night. Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. So that will be a very fun game. Did not expect the series to go this way. So I like it. I like an underdog. I'd prefer Indiana to get the win over OKC, obviously. But yeah. NBA Finals heating up, getting more interesting, grabbing more eyes, hopefully. But there we have it. That is the show for tonight. Thank you for watching and listening, or wherever you are, whether that's YouTube or Spotify. We appreciate your support to the channel. But until next time, hopefully Friday, look for another episode to come out. But that will be it. I'm Connor Kendall, and thank you for watching the Scoreboard Sports Podcast.